Ground ball. McLean, second. 12 in a row. The oldest team in professional baseball has its 5th ever winning streak of a dozen straight.
Our job every day is to try to kick somebody's ass. I mean, that's why we're here.
That is caught. Left center. Reds win.
And this ball is launched high and very deep to right, long gone. It's second of the night. Ellie De La Cruz.
Short lead for Pena. Larkin drills it. Do you believe this? It's going to be gone. Back to back. Walk-off home runs. How about this? He's back. He's back. He's back.
And a swing and a drive. Deep left field. This one belongs to the Reds. Swung on and hit deep to left field. That ball is going to be gone. Home run. And the Reds put it 5-4.
Goes the second one. Around the first. Got a double play. And the Reds sweep the Cubs. Breaking ball. Hit high. Hit deep. Way back there. And gone. Into the second deck and left. Christian Encarnacion Strand walks it off.
Karcher does it in his major league debut. He gets the final 3 outs, and the Reds get an extra inning win. A thriller 5-4.
Swung on. Fly ball. Hit the deep right field. That ball is going to be gone. A grand slam home run by Mike Cameron.
2 outs, 2 on. Reds down by 1. Larkin down the line. It's a winning. It's a winning. Here comes Tucker. Here comes Steins. Larkin's won the game. Barry Larkin gets mobbed. Look at this scene. It's synergy.
The stretch, the pause in the pitch, and a line drive, base hit left center field. A single for Aaron Boone, and this one belongs to the Reds. The Reds have won 8 in a row.
Kobayashi with a long look turns it loose, and Dunn hits it to deep right. It's all over, and this one belongs to the Reds. The Reds have won their 5th game in a row. They've defeated the Cleveland Indians on an Adam Dunn 3-run home run, 4-2. In on the corners at first and third. 2 on, nobody out. Here's Royce Ring pitching, no bunt. Ground ball by the third baseman into left field. Jay Bruce rounds third, and this one belongs to the Reds.
That's it pretty good. Guess what? He doesn't need speed. That's gone. He's the king of the Queen City tonight.
With 1 out here in the 11th inning, you sure got to go now.
1 out, pull down the left field line. That ball is going to get the winning run in. Here comes Jay Bruce rounding third, heading toward the plate, and this one belongs to the Reds.
Huge situation for Votto. Why you paying the big bucks to deliver the goods with 2 outs in the 9th inning? Can he do it? In the gap, right center field, and Votto delivers the goods.
Hit deep center field. And Keel going back at the warning track. Oh, he gets one. It's gone. Joey Votto is delivered.
Good evening, Reds fans, and welcome to another edition of the Chatterbox Reds pregame show. I'm Hunter Hurst. He's Ricky Logan. And Ricky, hey, it's been a long time since I did one of these, so you're going to have to forgive me for if I sound like an idiot, to be honest. You're going to have to forgive me for that. But the Reds were finally, and I mean finally, able to beat the Milwaukee Brewers in a back-and-forth thriller yesterday afternoon. How are we feeling after the homestand? How are we feeling heading into the road trip? And most importantly, how excited are we to have some late-night Reds back in our life?
Yeah, gotta love late-night Reds. West Coast baseball is always fun when you're on the East Coast. But, yeah, I mean, it's when you finally get the last game of the series, that's a series we could have swept, honestly. You were up big Friday night. We were up Saturday night, and then it looked like we were going to lose it on Sunday, and then just coming through in the late innings, a rare extra innings pull through, honestly, with the Manfred runner. So we got the one, and it's really, I mean, it's about all you can ask for when you play the best team in baseball.
Yeah, the very best team in baseball. I saw a tweet while the intro video was playing that Andrew Vaughn's last 120 some games with the White Sox, they were 29-89. He's played 34 games in Milwaukee and they're 29-5. That's ridiculous. I mean, what a turn of events for that guy. I'm just so happy they beat the Brewers. Obviously you should have swept the series. Really should have swept Philadelphia too. But those are really two good teams that in a vacuum, 3-3 is not that bad. But when you look at what actually took place on the field, 6-0 was right there.
Yeah.
It was tough.
It's tough.
Yeah, it definitely was. Quick post-game recap. Reds won 3-2-10. Andrew Abbott, again, just fantastic from the left-hander. A lot of people talking about Tom Browning. I'm not old enough to have ever watched Tom Browning, but if he was that good, then hell yeah, Andrew Abbott. That's fantastic. He was so good yesterday. He's been so good all year. Jose Trevino saving the Reds yesterday time and time again. Offense, defense, just calling the game. I thought that was the best game I've seen a Reds catcher play in so long. I mean, Tucker Barnhart comes to mind. He was incredible yesterday.
It was all around.
There's no shortage. Yeah, there's no shortage of words you can say. And obviously Austin Hayes with the walk-off hit, that had to feel really good for him, especially a guy who has struggled mightily as of late. Do you think there's a chance that 37 games ago, I believe, this kind of springs him into a month-long hot run and the Reds are able to pass the Mets?
It could. I mean, this team really hasn't gotten hot consistently offensively all year long. They had the breakout game in Baltimore earlier on Easter Sunday, but they really haven't had a solid 2-week run of just great offensive baseball. They've had a game here, 2 games here, but then they really go cold. So, I mean, if it were to get hot, I mean, they could springboard into the first wild card spot. I mean, that's a real possibility.
Yeah, it's not out of the question. I mean, the Reds are, I think, 6.5, 5.5 behind the Cubs, who have not been playing inspired baseball as of late. We'll talk about that in the rundown of the Central later, but they just got their ass beat by the Brewers earlier today, 7-0.
Yeah.
And the Padres, I mean, they have just an insane back into the bullpen, but the Mets are obviously the team. The Reds are right there in their rearview mirror, and they haven't been playing very good baseball. I think they're 3-7 in their last 10. They lost like 9 in a row at one point or something like that. I'm just happy they're playing meaningful baseball. It's August 18th, 2023. Obviously, they played meaningful baseball, but this hadn't happened a lot in Cincinnati in the last few years, and it's fantastic just to be able to sit down and watch the Reds in late August and into September and be like, yeah, they're right in the thick of this thing, and we got a shot.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the wild card standings, we'll talk about that later too with the Central rundown and stuff. But the Cubs have a 4-game lead over the Mets for the final wild card spot. We're a game and a half back of the Mets, so I mean, realistically, we're 65-60. The Cubs are 70-54. So I mean, it's realistic. I mean, there's still over a month of baseball left. I mean, we could get hot. Anything can happen, really.
Anything. I mean, think of 4 years ago, the Cardinals won. They were, I think, 6 games out on like September 1st and ripped off 17 wins in a row. Now, That's something that's only happened, I think, like 5 times in the last 50 years, but who's to say it couldn't happen to 6th? I mean, you have a series left with all 3 teams that are ahead of you in the wild card standings and the team behind you in St. Louis, who's essentially out of it now. They lost 5 in a row, and now they're 5.5 back at the Mets. Anything can happen. The good thing is that anything can happen.
Yeah, I'll end it on this. With our pitching staff and our offense that's young and doesn't really know any better, they could get hot and anything could happen.
Bingo. We'll take a quick look at the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. I don't know if they're still the LA Angels of Anaheim, but that's what I'm going to call them. They are 60-64. They are 4th in the American League West. They're not bad. They're not great. They're just the Angels. Is kind of the way I look at them. They lost 2 out of 3 to the A's. They exploded in the 10th inning to not get swept yesterday, and was able to take that finale in Sacramento. They did sweep the Dodgers during the week. I mean, it's just
help us out.
we talk about how up and down the Reds are. I mean, I couldn't imagine being an Angels fan. I mean, you had Ohtani and Trout on the same team, and they never made the playoffs. And here you are running out Yoan Moncada in the year of our Lord 2025, and you're 4 games under 500, which is better than you were some of the Ohtani Trout years. So they're the weirdest team in baseball is the way that I look at them.
Yeah, they're kind of the example, like the only team you can really point at to say that spending money doesn't lead to success. They're 11th in payroll, $204.8 million. For context, we're 22nd in payroll. And they've had 9 straight losing seasons. And that was 2015 was the last time they had a winning season. I think Trout's only had 1 playoff series in his entire career. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, against Kansas City the year they won the World Series. That was his only one. Yeah.
They've lost 4 of their last 5 series. Like you said, they swept the Dodgers. It helps us out. And oddly enough, they've been better at home. That's kind of worrisome for this series, but they're 33-30 at home and 27-34 on the road. So I really hope we could kind of outpitch them. We don't have our A rotation, tonight. We have Brady Singer tonight, but I think with Hunter Green tomorrow, we'll look forward to that. And then, I really like the pitching matchup for this too.
Yeah, especially Singer's been awesome against the Angels in his career. 3 starts, he's 0-2 with a 2.61 and 10 innings pitched. I think the main thing for Brady Singer that I look at when he's on the mound is who's receiving him. If it's Tyler Stevenson, I know it's probably not going to be a good day. That's no qualm against Tyler Stevenson. I know a lot of Reds fans have some issues with him, but when Brady Singer's pitching and Tyler Stevenson's behind the plate, opposing batters are hitting .323. And when Jose Trevino is behind the plate, that average dips 98 points to .225. So I don't know if it's the way he calls the game, if he kind of understands a pitcher like Brady Singer maybe better than Tyler Stevenson, but it's just fantastic for Brady Singer whenever Trevino's behind the plate. He's the best catcher that he's ever pitched to statistically.
Yeah, I know that's a weird quirk with pitchers sometimes, and not sometimes your best team catcher isn't your best pitcher's catcher. Bronson Arroyo famously had Ryan Hannigan and David Ross as his personal catchers back in the day when we had Devin Mesoraco and Tucker Barnhart as our everyday catchers. So it's weird how that dynamic can work. I think Hunter Green prefers Stevenson sometimes, it feels like, and it's weird. I know Lance George in the chat brings up Stevenson's hurt. Yeah, that's part of it. And I think that is kind of an issue going forward if it's going to be more of a long-term issue because we don't really have that backup catcher anymore. And I don't know what we would do if maybe like Banfield or something would come up from AAA. But yeah, it's weird. Like you said, just how the numbers work with Trevino as opposed to Stevenson. Because I think Stevenson caught that Astros start, which was like his first real blow-up of the season.
Yeah, Stevenson was behind the plate for that one. That game was insane. I'm really hoping for no more of those ever again. I'd like to see him score 10 runs in the first inning, obviously, but to give up I think 8 in the third or whatever it was, I don't want to see that. That's not anything I want to see. It's like the Friday night game against Milwaukee. Was sitting in a pizza joint, and I was like, "Oh, the Reds are up 8-1." Like, this is amazing. I looked 15 minutes later, and the game was tied. And I was like, "What the hell? Like, what?" It's craziness. It's complete madness. But nonetheless, and the good thing moving for Singer is that only one of these Angels hitters has seen him a lot. That's Yoan Moncada, obviously from his time in Chicago when Singer was in Kansas City. He's 6 for 26 with a homer, and that's pretty much the only significant sample size against Brady Singer. Trout's 1 for 5 with a walk and a pair of Ks, and that's really it. And it's the same thing on for the Reds. There's no familiarity with the Angels pitcher, I believe Victor Mederos.
Yeah, the thing that worries me with Singer is his home and road splits. At home, he's 6-4 with a 3.08 ERA, and on the road, he's 4-5 with a .02 ERA. So that kind of worrisome, but I have faith that with Vino behind the plate, I think a lot of those starts he had Stevenson also. So maybe we'll have more familiarity as well, and we'll just see that because he's never pitched at Angel Stadium either, which I find that weird. Pitching in Kansas City all those years, he never pitched in LA. So yeah, I can you say that did we win the Singer India trade with this?
I think you could say it rather easily that the Reds won the Singer and India trade. It's clear as day. I mean, the Reds just fleeced Kansas City in that trade. And I love Jonathan India, always
Me too.
will.
Yeah.
The Reds got exactly what they needed, and the Royals got something they really didn't need in Jonathan India. They wanted him to be kind of that high contact leadoff hitter we saw his rookie year. You know, he's had some pop, was able to get extra base hits, and be an awesome leadoff guy in front of Bobby Witt, and it just didn't work out. And that's unfortunate. Also has been terrible defensively, to say the least. But, yeah, the Reds 100% won that trade. And if there was ever a night that the Reds needed an innings eater in Brady Singer, it's tonight. It's 100% tonight. You got to have it. You just have to have it.
Yeah, no doubt. These 10-9, 4.31 ERA, averaging 8.6 Ks per 9, 3.5 walks per 9, and 1 home run per 9. So hopefully he can keep that kind of in the same statistical category, and he can get us 6 or 7 innings tonight and really give some much needed break to the bullpen.
Yeah, definitely. It's also the Angels Park it's a statistically a big ballpark, so that should help him out as well. I think. Looking at Metaros on the mound for the Angels, he's going to be more of an opener. It looks like he's thrown as many as 4 innings. He's thrown 3, and he has thrown as little as 1. The thing for this Reds lineup, as we get into that, is to work the count. He's thrown 8 innings on the year. He's walked 7 guys. Each time that he's gone into the game for the Angels, this will just be his second start. But each time he's gone in, he's walked at least 1 batter. And if he's pitched multiple innings, he's walked 3 each time. So obviously we're looking for the Reds to work the count and, make this guy throw as many pitches as possible and really get on top early and give Singer some cushion, because that's what they did against Texas in Singer's debut way back in March, which feels like years ago at this point. But that he was able to pitch comfortably then. Outside of the Houston start, I feel like if you've given him a lead early, he's been phenomenal. So the Reds have got to get up early in this one and hope that you can get to the part of the game where you don't have to use, and I don't think you'll even be able to use Santillan, Pagan, or Ashcraft.
Yeah. For Metaros, earlier this spring, he changed his arm slot while he was working in spring training, and he swapped out his 4-seam fastball for a sinker. He throws a sinker 53% of the time with a slider and a sweeper and a changeup. His sinker is basically 95 miles per hour. And they said that with him changing his arm slot, it really just kind of just clicked for him. He found the strike zone better. He was the 10th ranked prospect for the team coming into the season. So he's got a lot of talent, no doubt. It's just, is he going to be able to really, are we going to be able to get to him earlier than what they plan on him going at this point is what I'm looking for.
Yeah, that'll be huge. If I'm not mistaken, he was one of the guys, I at least think he was one of the guys that year the Angels picked nothing but pitching prospects in the draft. Believe he was one of those guys. So looking at the Reds lineup, Friedel leading off. Gavin Lux is DHing tonight, hitting in the 2-hole. Ellie and Austin Hayes 3-4. Noelvi Marte, right fielder Noelvi Marte, is batting 5th. Spencer Steer drops down to the 6th spot. The savior of the city, Jose Trevino, kicks off the bottom of the order. Key Brian Hayes bumps up from the 9th spot to the 8th spot. And Matt McClain is hitting 9th at second base. I think this is a huge series for Matt McClain.
Yeah.
Being back home, played at UCLA, this is – if it was ever going to click for him to really get hot, this is where it should start. One would think.
Yeah, he's coming back home. Him, Lodolo, and Steer are all from the LA area. McLean with the UCLA. You would hope that he could get it figured out, because if McLean can get back to somewhat anywhere near 2023, I mean, this just the dynamic of this lineup changes completely. Gavin Lux is a good hitter. He just doesn't provide anything but singles. He's got 364, 788 OPS this month, but 2 extra base hits. And today's the 18th. So we've played some games and they only have 2 extra base hits. Is kind of sad, honestly. I think Austin Hayes has more extra base hits than him, and he's been terrible this month. Noelvi Marte to me has been just great. I mean, you can't expect anything more out of the kid. He comes in third base in the offseason, playing in like the Winter League, wasn't great. Comes into spring training, a lot of errors at third base, wasn't great. And then he goes down to AAA, plays third base, wasn't great defensively. And then like offensively in AAA, he really picked it up. And then he comes up, and then Easter Sunday, he has that 5 for 5, 6 for 6 game with the grand slam, had like 7 RBIs, and he kind of took off, and then he cooled off. He got hurt. The injury actually was, funny enough, it was prior to the season. He was kind of just playing through it, and then he goes through his rehab assignment. He comes back up, and he's just really taken off. And over his last 7 or 8 games, he's 320 or no. In August, he's slashing 327, 558, 8 extra base hits, with 2 of those being home runs, and learning right field on the fly this month. I mean, you can't ask more of anything, especially learning a new position while in a playoff race. I mean, it's something special from him, and he's batting almost 300 on the season. He's batting 296. So Noelvi Marte to me has just been the biggest surprise that you could have asked for. He's what you wanted Matt McLean to be this year.
100%. I said it before the year. Saw him in spring training. He hit a ball. I believe he hit a home run to left center against maybe Cleveland in spring training. And I was like, maybe 2024 was just a wash. Sometimes, he had the suspension. That's obviously going to rock your confidence, and you haven't played. I mean, you sit out half a season and you come right into the lineup and you're facing major league pitching. That's brutal to go against. I mean, and obviously with the winter ball thing, where I think he was hitting below the Mendoza line, and
it wasn't great.
Winter ball. Spring training gets sent down early, and he didn't hang his head about it. I think was the main thing for me. He was like, "Yeah, I've got something I need to work on." And he's worked on it. And third base, he comes up and he's still hitting the ball well. But third base, I mean, for whatever reason, he can't make the throw to first, or sometimes he can't even field the ball. So we got to have his bat in the lineup, so they move him to right field, and he's been awesome out there.
Yeah, he's been gutting guys down at the plate twice already. You can't throw a ball from third to first, but he could throw a guy out from right field to the home plate on a hop. Like it's been something special. And I want to add this too. Ke'Bryan Hayes, moving up a spot in the lineup, he's slugging 988 over his last 7 games with the home run the other night. Ke'Bryan Hayes is slugging 988 over his last 7 games. It's not a typo. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
I know. I've noticed that. I think the broadcast has been talking that Chris Valaika has been working on him getting lift on the ball. So I think that is kind of getting him back to where he was earlier in his Pittsburgh career. If Ke'Bryan Hayes is a barely below average hitter, with his defense, he's a perennial all-star. I mean, he is the best defensive third baseman in baseball, and we haven't seen a third baseman like this this century. I mean, we had Scott Rowland, but he was older Scott Rowland. He made plays, but not like Ke'Bryan Hayes. He's been excellent.
No, it's since his first game when the error happened, I have been. Every time a ball is hit to third, the ball could go 5 feet, and I feel Ke'Bryan Hayes is making that play. He has been so good, and I hated the move when it first happened. When I first saw it, I was like, "What crawl, buddy? What are we doing?"
What are we doing?
And he's just been so good defensively. And then Valleca, having him put lift on the ball for everything we've said bad about Chris Valleca and the approach that the Reds have taken at the plate for the better part of this season, getting a guy like Ke'Bryan Hayes, who has a pretty solid back issue that's noteworthy, it's been happening for years, to put lift on the ball and say, hey, you might not hit 25 or 30 home runs like people thought you were going to do when you were the number one prospect in baseball.
Yeah.
But if we can have you lifting the ball and hitting the ball gap to gap and pulling the ball down the line like he's done on practically all of his home runs, this guy's been awesome. I mean, he's literally going to be known as the best third baseman in baseball defensively, but a league average hitter, like you said. He is probably starting at third base in the All-Star game.
Yeah, I mean, he's fun to watch defensively for sure.
That he is. We'll go ahead and move on to this Los Angeles Angels lineup. So, yeah, Neto at shortstop. He's leading off. I can never remember how to say this guy's last name. I think it's Chanul, Noah Chanul, whatever it is. He's batting second, playing first base. Then you have the big fish. Mike Trout is the DH, batting third. Taylor Ward in left. Yohan Moncada, the only Angel that has seen Singer very often. He'll play third, bat fifth. Joe Adell, the Kentucky native, in right field. First-round pick out of Tennessee, Christian Moore at second base. Logan O'Hoppe behind the plate. And then Teodosio, the center fielder, rounds out the lineup. Obviously, that it starts with Trout, and then it pretty much ends at Christian Moore as who you want to talk about there. I mean, Neto leads him in batting average. He's hitting 270, but Trout's had a down year. Taylor Ward's only hitting about 235. Obviously, does have 30 home runs and 90 RBIs to lead the team. But what are you looking for Singer against this lineup?
I'm looking for him to really use his sinker a lot. Keep the ball down, because if there's one thing Mike Trout can do is really lift the ball. He's not having the best season this year. He's getting older, but he's still one of the greatest players to play in this century, at least. I can't say enough good things about Mike Trout, whether it's about him as the baseball player or as him as a human. He's just an overall good person. But if we can keep the ball down and really just not walk guys, that's where they'll haunt us, especially with Trout. You don't want to have guys on in front of him, because if you have two guys in front of him, he rips a double. You're down 2-0 already. So I want to see him keep the ball down, throw strikes, and really just try to eliminate walks the best you can, because that's where he gets into trouble the most.
Yeah, just fill the zone is really what I'm looking for. That first pitch strike, for any pitcher, I think it's huge, but especially Brady Singer, I think it's the most important pitch is that first pitch, and if he's able to convert the 1-1 rather than falling behind in the count and go ahead 1-2. I just think he's so much better when he's ahead in the count, because he doesn't really have that put away stuff. He's got that, I'm going to pitch to contact, and if you hit it, fine. If you swing and miss, even better. That's the way that I've always seen Brady Singer. And whether Mike Trout is having a down year or whatever, he could come to the plate with one arm and one leg, and I'm still not throwing him a first pitch strike, and I'm definitely not throwing him something low and in. I've seen how many highlights over the years have you seen of Mike Trout catching a ball on that inner third of the plate right around his knees, and the ball is deposited somewhere in Bakersfield? I mean, don't throw it there is the way that I'm looking at it. A lot of comments in the chat about Will Benson. Ricky, I want to know your thoughts on Will Benson not being in this lineup.
Yeah, I would like to see him in the lineup, but Hayes has been feeling himself here the last two games. Maybe you just kind of keep him hot. You can't take Marte out of the lineup unless you're giving him a day off. The realistic option would be to swap out him with Lux, but Lux has been hitting. So it's kind of what you want out of Lux. If he's batting second, you want him getting on base in front of your 3 and 4 hitters. But I don't know. Maybe it's just because of the fact that this kid throws a really good sinker, and you're trying not to get in his head, maybe. And I don't know. I really like. I think if, depending on what they do out of the bullpen, I'm not sure who they're going to have relieve their starter, but if they bring in another righty, I could see them bringing him in some capacity. I think he'll be more than just a pinch hitter today.
I fully agree with that. I don't know exactly where he goes whether that be in the outfield or in that DH spot, but he's going to get multiple at bats in my mind, the way that I look at it. I also just hate for Will Benson that he's the odd man out, because when he plays, when he starts, the Reds are 10 games over 500, which feels insane. And in the games he's played in his career, I think there are 22 games over 500. I don't know what it is about Will Benson. He's just a leader of men. That's all you can say about him. I've always loved his energy and watching him play. Hate that he's the odd man out, but hopefully when he ultimately gets to hit tonight, I believe he's going to crush a ball, and that's my prediction. Is if Will Benson gets an at bat tonight, he's sending one. That's just the way I look at it.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like, you see a lot of talk on social media about the strange reasons why he's not playing. I don't believe in any of that. I think a lot of it is out of. I like Jake Fraley, and he's gone. Jake Fraley CFA'd yesterday, but I feel like he has more of a chase. He's more of like peaks and valleys, and you know how Nick Kroll doesn't like peaks and valleys. So maybe that's part of it. I don't know, but I mean, it's hard, man. Will Benson's such a likable guy on and off the field. If he could, I'd like to see him put together a week like he did where he won Player of the Week. If he could put another one of those together and prove that he's not just this 1 week kid, which we all know he's not, but maybe in the eyes of Kroll and Brad Meter and maybe even Tito, that maybe if he could put together another week, especially on this road trip, maybe he could earn the final month of the season. And who knows, maybe he leads us into the playoffs and we do something special.
That's what we all want. Just give me some postseason baseball, and I haven't seen the Reds score a run in the postseason since I was 13 years old. So it's been a while. So
it's been a long time.
That's all I'm looking for. No need to go into the weather. It's Los Angeles, as Ricky said before the show. It's beautiful out there. Pagan, Santillan, Ashcraft, have to think they're down tonight. I'm thinking Suter's likely your first guy out of the bullpen if things go south early. Barlow is going to be a huge piece in this game, as Luis May and Sam Moll are as well. I just don't see a world, unless they play a 15-inning game, that Santillan, Pagan, or Ashcraft are playing. That's just the way that I look at it.
Yeah, Pagan especially, not looking great when he has been pitching either. And it's sad because I just put out an article about him being a top 10 closer in baseball, and then he goes and shows me that he hasn't been the last 2 games. But he statistically has been a top 10 closer in baseball this season. It sucks that the 2 games that he has his worst outings at, he was against the team that we needed to beat the most in the Brewers, not just for the standings, but just psychological. But yeah, a Suter threw 44 pitches on Friday. Hasn't thrown since. Scott Barlow threw 17 on Friday, 5 on Saturday, didn't pitch yesterday. Luis May threw 19 pitches on Friday, didn't really look great either. Sam Moll, 17 pitches on Friday, hasn't pitched since. So there are 3 guys, 4 if you count Barlow, pitching 5 on Saturday that haven't pitched since Friday. So it's Suter, Barlow, May, and Moll. Hopefully we don't need to worry about Santillan and Pagan. Ashcraft's gone back-to-back games. He typically doesn't go 3 in a row. So I would look to see those guys be the ones that come in.
Yeah, I agree. Seeing Molly Votto in the chat, the Angels are 60 and 64. We'll help you out there, Molly. I didn't Google them until about 15 minutes before the show because, again, they are the Angels. So that's kind of the way I look at it. We'll go around the NL Central, and we will look at the wild card standings as well. Quick on the Central, again, the Cubs lost 7-0 to the Brewers. Game 2 of that doubleheader, it's actually a 5-game set in Chicago. It was postponed. So they'll play a doubleheader tomorrow and then finish out that series on Wednesday and Thursday. Pirates are currently hosting the Toronto Blue Jays, one of the, I believe the top team, in the American League, residing in Canada. And then the Cardinals are currently in Miami. So looking at the wild card, I know the teams that we're obviously chasing is the New York Mets. They are off, and then they begin a 3-game set with the Nationals tomorrow. So big opportunity for the Reds tonight to gain, I believe, half a game, I think is how that would work if they won tonight, and get to a game back of the New York Metropolitans.
Yeah, this series, playing a losing team, if you could possibly sweep them, with the Cubs playing the Brewers, and the Padres, who were they playing? Just had it.
That was the one team I missed.
Playing the Giants. So that's a key series too, with the Giants trailing us. Yeah, if they were to go out and take 2 out of 3 versus the Padres, it helps the Giants out in the race versus us, but it really helps us catch up to the Padres and the Cubs. So like I said earlier, if we could come out of here 2 out of 3, 3 out of 3, really have as close as you can get to a winning road trip. It's gonna be a tough one. But if you can get as close as you can get to a winning road trip, we could possibly see ourselves in the first wild card spot coming out of this.
Yeah, there's a lot of ball left to play. It's almost football season, so I'll definitely be saying that a lot on my couch. DraftKings Open on Saturday is here soon, but nonetheless, predictions tonight. I think Benson hits a home run if he comes in the game. From the starters, I'm looking at a 2-hit day, possibly over on total basis for Noelvi Marte. That's what I'm looking at. Ricky, you have anything?
I got 2. I think McLean and Steer are going to have a really good homecoming. If not today, they're going to have it this series. And I think Ellie finally gets off the schneid here a little bit. He's been kind of struggling. He's got a 510 OPS over his last 15 games. Honestly, I'd like to see him get a day off if he could over this road trip. I know he really prides himself on playing every day, but dealing with the leg injury he's been dealing with all season and his recent struggles, maybe a day off and just seeing batting practice for a day really could benefit. And then I don't like bringing up his defense. I'm not an anti-LA defender. He's my shortstop through and through, but having that error to really kind of could have costed the game. I'd like to see him maybe a day off, kind of clear his head from that as well. So if hopefully if we can win today and you can get him a day off either tomorrow or going forward.
Yeah, I agree. I think it would be huge for him to have a day off. That said, probably not going to happen with his mentality and the way things go. So that's all that I have. Go ahead and tune into Reds Live, everybody. Ricky, any final thoughts?
No, just tune into the post-game show. I think it's Nick and Trace tonight. And just go Reds.
Oh, yeah, go Reds. Late night Chatterbox. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Ricky, thanks for kind of limping me through my first show pretty much since the All-Star break, man. It's been a while. I'll be back on Wednesday with Max. And I believe, Ricky, are you on Friday? Is that right?
Friday with Mike, yep.
Friday with Mike. Well, that means the Reds are going to win on Friday. That's the way I look at it. So.
I don't know how we do
thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Chatterbox Reds.
Go Reds.